Okay guys, we're back. So let's take a look at this. This is when we first redid the boat. When I got the boat, got it redone, and these are the trials when I was taking it out and getting all the bugs worked out of it. So this is Cassie's first time riding in this boat, so she's kind of confused because she's used to the old Dargo 170 Scout. And this boat's a lot bigger, a lot wider, a lot more space. So we're taking it out for a spin. This is back in 2018 is when this was. Beautiful day, look at that, out on the lower Laguna Madre. And we're just going to take it out, do a little bit of fishing, and just see how the boat runs, see if there's any issues, any bugs that we need to work out of it and stuff. And on this ride out, we'll talk about Cassie. So it's been probably about 3 weeks since I posted my last video. It's just I haven't had time. I've been busy at work, but now that I have a little bit of time off, I'm going to post some more videos. I'm going to keep covering all my trips, and then eventually we'll get the boat back in the water and we'll be making new videos. Just to cover it up, finish it off with Cassie, kind of give you the background on her. She's been with me a long time. All you guys have ever seen is just her in the fishing videos. Well, since 2007 when I received her, let me kind of give you the backdrop on this. Cassie was originally, it was from a neighbor when I was living in Brownsville, lived across the street from us, was breeding these type of dogs. He was breeding a Sheltie Dachshund cross. And that's what Cassie is. So she's a Dachshund crossed with a Sheltie. So instead of a Sheltie normally getting about 35 pounds, you know what I mean, right in there somewhere. Reason why she was only about 12 pounds is because of the Dachshund that was in her. So he was breeding these and trying to get this look. She had the most unique look out of all the ones that he had bred, but the problem with her was she had an overbite, meaning that her jaw was about almost 1.5 inches shorter than her upper jaw. So the neighbor didn't really want her. He was going to take her down to the pound and get rid of her because she was abnormal. And my stepdaughter was here at the time, so she wanted a dog. So we got her the dog, and which was Cassie. I told him, hey, I'll take Cassie and we'll give Cassie a home. And so that didn't last long because my stepdaughter moved out to California and didn't want to have any how should I say, burdens or anything to take care of anything at the time. Didn't really have time for it, so she left Cassie behind. And how the relationship started with Cassie was my stepdaughter used to leave her in the bathroom in the tub at night because I guess she didn't want her sleeping with her, or I guess she kept waking her up or whatever it is because she kept bothering her. So they would put her in the bathroom, and then I'd wake up in the middle of the night because I'd hear her howling in there, and I'd go pick her up and I'd bring her back to the bed with me. So after that, I just pretty much said, you know what, no, I'm going to keep her. She's going to stay with me. And that's how it's been for the last 17.5 years. She used to ride around on the dash on my truck forever when she was real small. You've seen the pictures where she's sitting up on the dash. That was like her favorite spot for the longest time. But she's gone everywhere with me. This is the thing, is anywhere that I've been pretty much in the United States, she's gone with me since 2007. Anything outside of the United States, I never took her abroad with me because it was just too much how should I say, paperwork to get her through, because you have to have a vet sign off on your end here, and then whatever country that you're going to go traveling in, to go vacation in, you got to get a vet over there. And once you get there, you got to take her in, and the vet over there has to sign off too and do all this. So it was always an issue. So I just left her with my mother when my mother was alive, whenever I travel outside the country, and my mother would take care of her, and then I just pick her up on the way back, back to the house. Cassie was a unique. I've had plenty of dogs, so like I had said in one of the posts and one of the comments, growing up, I had many dogs growing up as a kid. We had you know, German Shepherds, we had Poodles, we had Dobermans, we had Pekingese, Pomeranian crosses, you name it. I've had all kinds of dogs growing up as a kid. The last dog that I had before Cassie was many years ago. I hadn't had a dog for many years. This is back in the 80s. So you're talking about 85, 86, right there. I had 2 Labradors, black Labradors. One was Lady, one was Dolly. And of course back then I used to do a lot of hunting. So they were my bird dogs. Very good dogs. I wish I could find the pictures. I don't know. I guess all the pictures are lost to time with those dogs, but I used to carry them around in my old 72 truck in the back of the bed. They used to love riding around with me. And of course take them hunting because they're hunting dogs. They love to go, when you shoot the bird, they love to run, go get it and bring it back to you. So that was the last dog that I had. So I went many years until, so you're talking what, 80s, 90s, 2000, you're talking, you know, over 20, 25 to almost 30 years before Cassie came along. So I hadn't had a dog since then. And then Cassie showed up in 07. And, you know, the decision was made that she's made part of the family, so she's not going to be given away because she's part of the family now, so she's going to stay with us. And the relationship grew from there. Cassie's unique because my Labradors were really good dogs. They were really good family dogs, and they were, I wouldn't say the smartest dog in the world, but they do have some type of intelligence because, of course, they know how to retrieve, and they're very protective of you too. You know, they're friendly, but they can be very protective. Cassie, on the other hand, was different. She was very intelligent. And I guess it's because you know how Shelties are. Shelties are herding dogs, and they're pretty intelligent. And then, of course, Dutch Hounds are hunting dogs. That's what the aristocracy used to use way back in the day to hunt foxes. So a lot of people don't think that they're hunting dogs, but they are. They were bred. That's why they were long and skinny, so they could get into the foxhole and chase the foxes out. So they were bred for that. So the combination of those 2 instincts and those 2 dogs made a very intelligent dog. She was really, like I say, you know, pretty intelligent, pretty smart, pretty fast. Loved to run because the Sheltie in her, that Sheltie part of her, loves chasing things and bringing it back. And like I say, very highly, you know, intelligent dog. I don't even consider her a dog. I consider her family. I mean, she has been with me for so long. She was part of my family. She was my family. That's all I can say. Is that she wasn't really a dog to me. She was family. And you know, of course, life. I mean, life is, you know, we live and when we die. That's the processes of life. I was hoping to get a few more years with Cassie. You know, because everything, you know, for her age, she was doing pretty good, except for the last couple of weeks over there when she started having some issues, but she went down pretty fast. And I think at her age, I want to say she's about 100 years old in human years, a little bit over 100 years old due to her age. When you talk it in dog years, and human years, if you compare it, it's pretty equivalent. So she lived a pretty good, long, good life. She lived her best life. And like I said, she used to travel everywhere. She's traveled all over the United States with me. I mean, all the way out to California and back, all the way up to Massachusetts and back, all the way up to Missouri and back, everywhere, all over the United States, out to Arizona. Plenty of trips to Arizona with me, plenty of trips to New Mexico, plenty of trips to Colorado, plenty of trips to, I mean, just everywhere. All over the western half of the United States and all over the eastern half of the United States. She's been with me. So she is a very well-traveled, 4-legged person. So she used to go everywhere. She loves to travel, loves to see things. And And I got plenty of pictures somewhere. I just got to dig them all out. I was trying to look for the old videos too. That was another thing. I guess they're in the house in Brownsville. I got to go down there and look. But we have old videos from camcorder, you know, tape videos of her way back in the day. If I can ever find those and round those up, I'll post some of them too here, so you guys can see her back on the old Dargo boat, you know, when we're out there in the Resaca, and at the beach, Boca Chica Beach, Isla Blanca Park, places like that. Cassie used to love running in the sand out at the beach. But anyway, she was very unique. She'd been part of my life for, like I said, last 17 and a half years. And it's a bitter day that she's not here, but she'll always be with me. Even though she may not be here physically with me anymore, she'll always be with me. She'll always be out there on the lower Laguna Madre. She'll always be part of the videos that I make. And Rusty's going to step in and carry on for Cassie. But, you know, nothing can replace Cassie. I mean, she'll live on in her videos, guys, and live on in my memory. But I do have her here. I had her cremated, and when it's my time, I'm going to carry her with me, and she's going to get buried with me. So, out of all the pets that I've had, by far, that's the best relationship with one that I've had. And I've had pretty good relationship with my other ones too. Used to have a Doberman that was called Cleo. Very good dog. Very good dog. She got hit and ran over out there one night on the road. Sad when I lost her. Jeremy, he was a Pekingese, what they call a Pekingese Pomeranian cross. Another good dog for many years. Puppy, which is she was a German Shepherd. Very good dog. I mean, like I said, I've had a lot of dogs over the years growing up as a kid. Because when I grew up as a kid, you know, we used to have everything. I mean, we didn't have that big of a property, but we had everything. I don't know, it was like an acre or whatever it is. Between the two lots, it's an acre. And we had everything. We had horses. We had quarter horses. We had chickens. We had rabbits. We had pigeons. We had pigs. We had cows. We had poodles at one time. There's something else I'm missing now. We used to raise it. And you know, when I'd come home from school, growing up as a kid, I always had to go do chores. Everybody else got to go out and play, but no, got to go out there and clean the pig pens. Got to go out there and clean the chicken pens, clean the pigeon pens. Go collect the chicken eggs, feed them all. You know, water the horses, feed the horses. And then I would have to go down to old lady Burke's house that lived down the road and she raised goats. She had goats, and she had acreage, man. I'm talking, I don't know how many acres she had out there, but it was a big place. And she had tons of goats. Go down there and clean the goat pens. And then she had aquariums inside the house where she used to raise snails, and you have to clean all the algae off that. She used to pay me $5 a week, and I'd go down there every day after school doing chores, cleaning. That was no fun, let me tell you. So when I grew up and you know, having animals around the house and all that stuff all the time, that kind of, how should I say, wasn't appealing to me anymore, because I'd been doing it for so long when I was growing up as a kid. Used to be in the 4-H club. Used to take the pigs up to the stock show and go through that program too. But like I said, had chickens, rabbits, pigeons, cows. We had cows at one time because we raised the cow and then take it over to Primera Meats, and then they'd butcher the cow, and that's how my dad would stock up the freezer. Same thing with the pigs too. Horses at one time, we had 3 horses, well 2, and then the mare got bred, quarter horses, and had a third one. Had them for a while, you know. But a lot of chores. My sisters were really into the horses, you know, so but all the other chores, chickens, pigeons, rabbits, pigs, you know, I used to have to feed all those guys. So used to do a lot of chores when I was growing up as a kid. and plus my homework. So so it was never any fun, man, coming home. So I had to have my fun on the playground at school before I came home, because I knew when I came home it's work. I gotta work, you know. But anyway, Cassie, she's gonna be sorely missed. And you know, but that's life. It's out of my control. That's beyond any of our controls. You know, nothing, you know, it just goes, and it reminds you, you know, nothing stays the same. Life keeps on moving. And that's what we have to do. We have to keep moving forward. You know, Cassie's under arrest. Eventually, one of these days, I'll join her. And, you know, and life's going to go on without us. So, anyway, in this video here, this is when we first got the boat finished off, and we're taking it out for its trials. And so Cassie's trying to get used to the boat here, and I'm getting used to it, and I'm checking to see if there's any issues with anything. And just so we went out, and where we went just right south of Bird Island, right there in the grass flats, and we caught trout is what we were catching here. So I don't know why when I did this, because this is recorded with my GoPro 6. For some reason I put it on an angle instead of horizontal. I had it on vertical, and that's why this video is kind of narrow. It doesn't give you the whole wide angle because of that. I don't know what the reasoning was back then why I did this, but this is back in 2018. And this is when the boat was redone. Cassie's still trying to figure it out. She's got all this space to walk around. She's not used to that because the Dargo was a lot smaller, and she's trying to figure out to navigate this deck here. She doesn't know how to get up on that deck, so she's trying to, you know, work that too to get into her routine. So she's not her usual self because she's not used to being on this boat. But as you've seen in the previous videos, she, you know, got right into it and didn't miss a beat and got back to her routine. So we're just out popping the cork. This is before I had the back baits on there. It's just a regular rattle trap standard cork that's been around for decades, that they still sell. You can pick them up at any Walmart, anywhere. And we're catching trout here in this. And the whole thing of this was just to try it out, go out. Look how calm it was. It was a beautiful day. I want to say this was in September of 2018, and this was a beautiful day out there. I just called this as yesterday. I love the cloud formation. One of the most beautiful cloud formations that I've seen on a calm day out there on the lower Laguna Madre. See how the water's barely moving? Got some small little ripples there from boats passing by, because I'm right off of the channel there, and I'm just right into the grass flats right south of Bird Island, and just right off of the channel. And we're just popping the cork with live shrimp. I think back then I was using about a almost 3-foot drop leader on there. I've shortened it since then. I don't go that deep anymore. And we caught, you know, some undersized and just keeper sized trout that day. I don't remember why my one pant leg is all wet. I don't recall what I did. I must have stepped in the water somewhere. I don't remember that, but as you can see, my right leg there, the whole pant leg is all the way up to almost the knee. It covers the whole shin. It's wet. So I stepped in the water somewhere for some reason, and I just don't remember that, doing that. But anyway, so Cassie's settling in, trying to figure it out. And so this is where we started, you know, how should I say, my first drift fishing the lower Laguna Madre video was with Kim, when I took her out, when she came down, and I took her out on the boat. But this is prior to that. This is when we were still trying to work everything out, because you can see my seat covers aren't black yet because I reupholstered those, and then the console is white, and then I reshot it black to offset with the motor, because I repainted the motor is what I did. So I wanted everything to match. I hadn't done that yet, so this is still in the works of ironing everything out and getting it to how I want it, to where it's going to be a fishing rig when I go out, how I want it to operate and to function for me when I'm out there on the Lower Laguna Madre. As you can see, Cassie, she's just pacing around trying to figure it out. Like, hey, there's a lot of space here. I don't know what's going on. This is a bigger boat. Everything's strange to me, because she's not, because you know, used to routines. Dogs are used to routines. They're used to seeing things the same, and when you change something up on them, then they got to really look it over and say, okay, hey, okay, what do we got going here now? Because he's not used to that. You know, they're used to things being in a certain place. You know what I mean? Anybody that has a dog will know what I'm talking about. Because like when they come in your house, because if they're an indoor dog, they're used to everything being in certain places. And when you move something to a different place, it kind of throws them off, because then they have to get that part of their sensory that, hey, this is moved. I need to change up the way I do things and stuff. So she's just getting used to it. That's why there's no barking. She's looking at me like, hey, what's going on? This is different. This isn't what we normally have. Because the other boat had carpet on it. Then my Dargle Scout, it had carpet all on the deck and on the sides. And she was used to that. And it was, like I say, it was a lot smaller than that boat. It was 17.6. So there wasn't a lot of deck room on the bottom floorboard of the boat there around the console. That's another reason why I upgraded instead of just hanging a newer motor on the old Dargle, is I wanted a bigger platform with more room, but something that could still get shallow. And so I recalled that, hey, that boat that my brother's buddy had was a pretty good sized platform, and it'd get pretty shallow. So I started looking, and that's what I settled with, which is an old 1988 Shoalwater flats boat, tunnel haul, 21 foot. There we go. There's the first trout of the day on the boat. First fish caught on that boat right here. Little trout. Nice little keeper trout, I believe. Or it might have been undersized. I don't know. It's pretty close. It's either 15 inch or it's just right under 15 inch. And that's what we caught that day. We caught some undersized and we caught some keepers. I think I went home with like 3 or 4 keepers that day that we filleted up that night and we ate. And that's before I had my offshore extreme rods. What I have there is a 9-foot 2-piece ugly stick. I still have my pin 260 reel on there. My slammer 260, that's what's on there. But that rod is an ugly stick 9 foot. What I don't like, reason why I changed and I didn't stay with that is, one, it's not a one piece. I like one piece rods. My old Procast rods that I used to have, they were 7.5 foot. They were one piece that I used to use on my old Dargle boat. Those worked really great. I mean, I used those for decades until they were just no good anymore, that they were breaking, and because they've been out in the salt water for so long. And then I couldn't find them because the company went out of business. So I switched to the ugly stick. But what I don't like about the ugly stick is, one, I'm sure you can get it in a one piece now, but back then, no. 2018, I don't think they made one piece ones. But what I don't like is the tip. The tip isn't stiff enough for me. I like a stiff tip. I don't like flex in the tip of the pole. Some people like that. I don't like that, because when I pull, I want to set the hook. You know what I mean? When you have flex and it gives, it's going to give opportunity for that fish to get off, because you're not setting the hook hard or deep enough or fast enough. And that's why I stopped using it. I still have it. I still got it laying around here somewhere. but I don't take it out on the boat anymore. I started replacing them all with the Procast. So I have four Procast rods is what I have. So that one was just undersized, 14 and a half, and I had to let that one go. It wasn't 15. Cassie's like, oh, I guess we're not going to eat that one tonight. Yeah. Look at her. She's like, what are you doing? I thought we were going to eat trout tonight. Cassie doesn't know about size limits. She doesn't know that. All she knows is fish taste good, and fish feel real good in her little tummy. That's what she knows. But look at that cloud cover. Beautiful day. This is a very beautiful day out there in the lower Laguna Madre. Look at that beautiful cloud cover. And the sun's out. It's a sunny day with that bright white spotty cloud cover. Beautiful. Hardly any wind. I think the wind was blowing like maybe, if even that, 8 miles an hour. Because look how calm that water is. And where I'm at, I'm just south of Bird Island in the grass flats. What you see off in the distance there on the bow of the port side of the boat, that's Bird Island. So I'm just south of it, fishing those grass flats, and the channel's right behind us right here, you know, off to the left. And we're just trying it out there. And all I caught that day were trout. We caught trout, speckled trout. No reds, just speckled trout is all that we caught. But look at that view. Beautiful. I love, you know, fishing the lower Laguna Madre. Look how beautiful it is. That was a beautiful day to be out there. So just take in the moment and look at the view. Beautiful. And you can see I still had the old white hatch covers on there. I changed them out to gray, and then the gray kept getting too dirty, so then I shot paint over those and painted them black. And then, you know, like now the black had peeled off them. So that's one thing about it, is that the paint holds for a little while, but eventually it'll peel off out there in the salt water. Because I couldn't find the black ones, not in the size that I need. They have them, but they're smaller, and they're not as big as the now that one looks like a keeper. As the ones that I have on there. So we'll see, you know, what type of hatch I'm going to go back with when I get the boat back in the water. I haven't made that decision yet. So here I got stuck with the fin from the trout. He stuck me. So I generally try to grab him right there above on top of the head and hold him. I think he stuck me. This is one that just that stuck me. Now I want to say that one was a keeper. No, I guess not. It wasn't a keeper. So, let Cassie lick him. I'm going to put him back. So he's probably just right under 14 and a half. Because back then they had to be 15. And I think, well, back then in 2018 it was 15 and you could keep 5. I think the new regulations are it's like 15, between 15 and 20 or something now. And you can only keep 3, I believe. Unless they've changed that, because I haven't been out in a while. But yeah, we're just trying out the boat. First time I put it in the water after all the work had been done. And Cassie still is trying to figure it out. Look at her. But look at the cloud cover. Beautiful. Nothing like it. Out there catching trout. A beautiful day on the Lower Laguna Madre and just enjoying the day with my puppy. And we're out there catching speckled trout. Seize the day. Looks like her tongue's about ready to fall out of her mouth, huh? See, one thing that you guys don't ever see, like Cassie, she's got a bowl up under the console that I always keep full of water for her. So she goes back to the console whenever she's thirsty, and she go up under there and get what she and drink what she wants. So that was a good day. That was a good day for trout. So what is that? Already like number 3? I think I already caught number 3. But if I remember right, I think we took home 3 or 4 keepers. Now that looks like a keeper. Maybe this is the one that sticks me. Oh, I guess not. I know one of them sticks me. I just don't remember which one. Cassie's like thinking, hey, are we going to keep this one or are you going to throw that one back? 'Cause I want some trout tonight. So this is 2018. I'm trying to think because so this is September. So see, Cassie recovered pretty good. Something you guys don't know is I was in Colorado in August of 2018, and me and Cassie were down in Durango. We were down there on the Animas River. I forget the name of the park, Santa Maria Park or something. I forget what the name of the park was. And I was running her, giving her some exercise, and she was chasing, going around and around and around, and chasing her favorite toy, you know, which is the blue bone that you've seen in the videos before. She loves that toy. And she tore her ACL, so on her left hind leg. And I had her x-rayed there at a vet in Durango, and that's how I knew that it was, because they had a really good they couldn't do anything for her because I didn't live in the state of Colorado, you know what I mean? I was going to be going back home in a few days. So I brought her back and had the animal hospital up there on the Nolana Loop Animal Hospital there in McAllen. Took her over there and they reattached her leg and re-sewed up restitched it back together. I guess they had whatever type of elastic that they use, and they created another ACL for her. So she recovered pretty good for that, because look, her fur's already grown back, because they had to shave the whole side of her leg there, and she had stitches. She's got a big old scar on her left hind quarter there, where they went in and they did the operation. And there she's moving pretty good, but once they did that, her running days were over with. She didn't run anymore. She'd skip around and trot a little bit, but jumping up and down all over the place and running everywhere. Once she tore her ACL, she never really ran again since that. But there, see, she moves pretty good, walking with her new ACL reattached. Because that happened in 2018 too, and this video is in 2018. So that had happened before we took this boat out. Because 2017, I was recovering from breaking my leg. I broke my left leg there, my tibia plateau on my left leg. That's why I limp, playing in a baseball game. So I just had to let it heal, and the way it healed, that's it. That's what I got. That's what I have to work with, because, you know, they're talking about, you know, going in, cutting the bone out, putting in a joint replacement, and doing all this kind of stuff. And then I asked the doctor, I said, well, man, after you do all that, am I going to be able to walk again correctly? He says, well, we won't know. That's like a 3 or 4 year process, multiple operations and 3 or 4 years down the road. So I just opted just to let the leg heal, and then I'll work with whatever I have. And all excited about how they're going to chop this out, do this, put in this prosthesis, and put a titanium bar in here and all that stuff. And then I'm thinking, like, you know, because, you know, I got to work. I got to be able to pay for it. So if I'm out doing all these operations and I'm not working, you know, that's not going to do me any good. So I just told him, no, let's wrap it up. So that's what I did. I wrapped it up, and when it healed, I just worked it from there. And that's what I have to this day. You know, try to keep original parts as long as possible if you can. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Before you start replacing everything. Because the downtime, you don't know. You don't know, you know, what the downtime is. At least I knew that that my body would heal in 3 months. The fracture would heal. How much, you know, and I went to physical therapy after that too. Or actually during the 3 months. I take that back. Before the 3 months was out, I was already taking physical therapy. I was going over there 4 times a week, 3 hours a day. That's how I ended up going to nights, because I had to go to nights because I had to go to therapy in the daytime. And that's how I ended up on nights. So here's Turkey up there at the park. Turkey's walking around. Of course, the pelican sitting at the dock at Tomei that we always go back into. And then we're going to flip back here in a minute to another fishing here in a minute, I believe. But yeah, that was our first trip out in the boat. First successful trip that I didn't have any issues, just working the bugs out before we start going any further. We just take it right out the mouth, right to the grass flats right there south of the mouth, south of Bird Island. Look at all those teals, wood ducks. You know? Pretty cool. Pretty neat. But just wanted to cover that with you guys. So Cassie being gone, we're still going to carry on. We are still going to be back out drift fishing the lower Laguna Madre. Once the boat gets done, we'll be back. Cassie will always be with me. Rusty will be taking over for her. And we'll see what Rusty does. I don't know if Rusty will take to it or not. We'll find out. But we will be back, guys. Beautiful sunrise there. Look at that. Beautiful. Love that cloud formation was so beautiful that day. So those are the spoil drops of Rattlesnake Bay that are in front of me. In that picture there, you see that? That's Rattlesnake Bay. So I'm in the grass flats right across from Rattlesnake Bay. That's where I was catching all those trout in the video. There's Cassie. Cassie girl. Chili Willie's there. Roy City. The old steak sandwich there. Highly recommend it. It's good. Pelicans always hanging at the dock when you come back in. You guys know that fish out of Roy City, they're always there. I always like filming them. Just watching what they're doing. Anyway, Rusty and me will see you guys out on the lower Laguna Madre. You guys have a good day.
puppy booby. What are you doing? What you doing, my friend? Oh, she is a sleepy heady Freddy. Cassie? Oh, almost fell off the bed there. There we go. Now she awake.